Hello, how are you guys doing? We are back live again. Game Time Collectibles, Circleville, Ohio. 2150 North Court Street, Circleville, Ohio. This is Rob. He's back.
Yeah. Hey guys. So we kind of threw out a couple things that we wanted to talk about.
Yep.
Actually, some of you guys, who have watched before, and when I made the post, threw out a couple things that you wanted to talk about 1990s underrated players. So this just kind of give you a preview of what we're going to talk about. 1990s most underrated baseball players. We're going to dive into that a little bit. It'll kind of lead us into some of the biggest Hall of Fame shuns in baseball. Our opinion, and we want to hear from you guys too. You're more than welcome to just jump right in and tell us.
Please give us comments, because that just gives us more to talk about. We got Matt Brown, Robert Thompson, and Tommy.
Cool.
Or watching so far, so
that's cool. So we're going to talk about biggest 1990s baseball players, kind of underrated guys, biggest shuns for the Hall of Fame. And then we're going to talk about the Sports Illustrated article. I shared it on both Facebook pages. I think I even shared it on my personal page.
Yep.
I know Vince from That Sports Card Show podcast had shared it, and several other collectors that I know had shared it. And it was a newer article that was just a couple days ago.
Yep.
So we'll kind of get into it. And then we're going to talk about, opening back up.
Yeah.
When we're going to physically get the shop rolling again. So
hey, Kevin Browning joined us. How are you doing Kevin? Out in Newark?
Yep.
I hope you guys are doing well. Bob Wolf. So we'll wait just a minute while we get some more people here. If you guys have a chance to check us out, if you're not local and you can't make it to our shop, please feel free to check us out on the World Wide Web. Rob has a web page called Game Time Sports Collect, where he does keep a good inventory of products that we have in the shop. Also supplies, shipping on. You can have a box sent to you anywhere, as many as you want, at $5 for shipping, which is a lot of times is a loss to us. But we want to make sure you get the product, and you can't come to a local shop. Or if you want to check, I'm on Facebook or eBay under Yahoo 23. I do have a lot of current singles. I do right now have a bunch of LeBron James bobbleheads. Please feel free to check those out if you have the opportunity. So
we can go ahead if you want and jump into. I've kind of got a list here to kind of get the discussion started of some guys that in the 1990s that were kind of shunned. And I guess the best way to look at it would kind of be like, if you opened a product today that had some retro guys in it, you might hit some of these guys as an autograph or a patch, or or whatever, and be like let down. But these are guys that, based on their on-field performance, should be people that we should value. So I checked out a couple different websites and kind of crunch some numbers to just kind of look at some of these guys. So I was telling Bill earlier, this is like opening a pack of 1991 or 92 Stadium Club. It's like these are the names that you would have saw. So if I mispronounce some guys' names, forgive me. But so we got Andres Galarraga, the Big Cat. Larry Walker. Kenny Lofton, which around here probably wasn't. He wasn't really underrated around here. I mean,
he was because of being from Cleveland, and then they had their getting to the World Series and stuff like that. Yeah, he definitely had a lot of fans in this area. So
Mike Mussina, Kurt Schilling, Joe Carter, Will Clark, which, by the way, Will Clark's about one of the only personal autographs I've ever got by sending it away, and him and Johnny Bench actually. Were about the only two guys I got when I was a kid, and actually sent it away, expecting I sent probably 15 away, and I just got those two guys, Will Clark and Johnny Bench, to send them back. Jeff Kent, Albert Bell, again around here probably wasn't really undervalued, I guess. Edgar Martinez, John Smoltz, Mike Piazza, Fred McGriff,
Crime Dog,
Gary Sheffield, and Rafael Palmeira. So those are a few of the guys, and I held off naming one guy, which would be my pick, and for underrated guys of the '90s. And then there was another guy that I wanted to mention, John. How do you say his name?
Olerud.
Yes, there we go. For the Blue Jays. I don't know if you guys were fans in the '90s or whatever. Somebody had mentioned him, and honestly, my knee-jerk reaction was, I mean, he was a cool guy. Like, I remember actually, he was both a baseball pitching and hitting prospect, which at the time they were making a big deal about it because before, Ohtani, there really wasn't that many people. They talked about Babe Ruth like that, but they thought John, might be good at both. But John, if you remember, he always wore a helmet, batting helmet, even when he played first base, because I believe he'd had
no air holes.
Yeah.
It was just like a regular, like you go to a carnival when you throw the ball and you win a helmet. It was one of those helmets. That's what it looked like. I thought I was a professional player just by wearing one.
Yeah. So I think he had a brain tumor, and so he felt like he always had to like protect himself from that. But I was looking at his stats. And so these are not Hall of Fame stats, in my opinion, but I can see people saying he was underrated. He played 17 years. The last 3 or 4, He
was injury prone.
Yeah, injury prone. And the at-bats were under, like, maybe 250. But he had 2,230 hits. He had 255 home runs. And 1,230 RBIs. Yeah. So that those numbers are up there.
Those are respectable numbers, but not in the hobby today.
Yeah.
The hobby, we as collectors today expect incredible things from our prospect to get anything. I mean, the one thing that whole list has that's in common is none of their mid 80s or early 90s cards, rookies, have any value to people because the companies overproduced them. I still, at probably the last couple card shows, I went through people's quarter boxes and sold Craig Biggio for a quarter. Craig Biggio is in the Hall of Fame. Had over 3,000 hits. Yeah. A great career and a great career on Major League Baseball standards.
Yes.
But he was not a big home run hitter.
Yeah.
He was not. He was just super consistent. So how do you value a player? There's a lot of players on there that was like Albert Bell or Joey Bell. He had a couple of years that were really good, but then the rest of the years were kind of not super, but they were, they definitely, Joe Carter, because they were local. Joe Carter, he left the Indians and then he went to the Blue Jays and he had a great career then, but it's just, none of their rookies are worth a pile of beans, and that's sad because a lot of those could potentially be Hall of Famers, and there's no value because of the time and chance that their rookies were in that time period.
Yeah. So yesterday, when we kind of brought up the Hall of Fame when we made the post about going live today, and somebody said most underrated 1990s players. When we were just talking about it, the three of us here, I was like Craig Biggio, like right off the top of my head. And so I wanted to look, like, what were his stats? Because I know he's a Hall of Famer but people just didn't care. So here's his stats. Just shy of 1,200 RBIs, which is not quite where it is for Hall of Fame level. 3,000 plus hits. He has the most leadoff home runs in MLB history with 50. And he has 4 Gold Gloves and actually played 4 different positions throughout his career. So, he definitely deserves to be in the Hall.
Very versatile.
Yeah, yes, very much so. And definitely somebody who is underrated. So, you guys have any...
We do have some comments.
Sure.
Okay, I just want to add Mike Aldrich and Leon are here. I seen Leon last week.
Yep.
Saw Mike last week. Anthony, DJ's here. Sam Hossley, Matt Brown. Okay. All right. Andrew said he had a chance to meet Fred McGriff or see Fred McGriff rip a home run with the Cubs at Ridley. The place went crazy. Sosa struck out afterwards. Well, Sosa was like, either he hit a home run or, and that's why his stats are low. Except for home runs, his stats are low for a career because he only batted 220s, 230s, and you know, back then that was acceptable, and today's standards, that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
Matt Brown mentioned Mo Vaughn. Mo Vaughn, I mean, he definitely had some good years there, and he was with Boston, who was, you know, doing some postseason work and stuff like that, but he wasn't there during the great days.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's hawking king size clothes through King Size Direct.
Oh, really? Is he?
Just by the hand. I think I went past that website once or a million times.
Yeah.
All right, and somebody said, did you guys intentionally set up your video to mimic Clerks, the movie?
No.
Yes, we did.
How are we doing that?
No. Well, because we're just kind of back here just talking. And,
oh, okay.
But actually, it wasn't intentional. But when you actually take on consideration, we are clerks. Yeah. We are. This is how we sell stuff. Mm-hmm. You come in. Normally, you guys stand about right there, and then you say, "Hey, I want to buy a box," and then you always ask me how many autographs and jerseys are in it, and then I'm like, I have no clue. And then I turn around and try to read the box and try to be as helpful as I can. Mm-hmm. And then
I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, and he's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Except for a lot of times he knows, or at least on the up for the new products, he does know that right off most of the time. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it boils down, we are really just clerks.
Yeah.
We're here to serve humanity. Let me see what else we got. BGO's second HMB taking it for the team. Hit batsman.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that he did.
That is a stat I missed. That is pretty sweet.
You know, isn't Don Baylor like most hit ever? Like, he got hit by 200 and some major league pitches through his career. Yeah. So one, you either crowd the plate or you're okay with getting hit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it does help the game. If the pitcher's going to pitch you inside and you're there, I mean, it's a legit to, you know, the pitcher can't. If the pitcher's batting in the batter's square, you know, in the batting zone, players should not get hit. But if that player's crowding it, the pitcher does have the right to protect his, just like any landlord. You know, that's where he needs to protect. You know, so just.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, Matt. He said no. Okay.
Okay. Kind of leading into, because we talked about the '90s players. And
there's somebody missing off that list.
Oh yeah. There is somebody missing off that list. So you can go ahead and go, and then I'll jump with.
There is a guy. He played for the Columbus Clippers in the early '80s. He went to New York. He was a first baseman. Probably one of the best first basemen of all time. Yeah. In some people's opinions, that matter to me.
Yeah.
Don Mattingly was definitely one of the best first basemen. Won batting champions. Actually, I think he had a home run title in there at some point. He had 8 home runs in 6 games or something at one, like a stretch. But the problem with him and the lack of being in the Hall of Fame is that his back problems and ailing kept him from getting it. He literally quit or left baseball the year before the Yankees won the first World Series in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And so basically he's an afterthought. And that's a shame because I feel at some point after he's done with his coaching days and all that and his vote goes to the Veterans Committee, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So I think he's been shunned so far.
Yeah. So kind of jumping into the shuns for the, you know, who's been shunned for the Hall of Fame in MLB baseball. When I was kind of looking at this, I avoided the whole guys that were identified with steroids. So if you're heavily identified with steroids, I avoided that. Because if you don't go that way, then your Barry Bonds is right there for sure.
Oh, I agree.
Absolutely. Mark McGwire is right in there.
Yes.
So if you don't go that way, and then kind of avoided Pete Rose. I specifically said that when I put out the question, but then somebody said Shoeless Joe Jackson, which again is a
gambling. He may or may not have broke the rule of not playing to his potential to throw the World Series, but he definitely should Him and Pete Rose kind of out of baseball for the same reason.
Yeah. Yeah, so here would be a couple guys, and then I'll center in on. So Hall of Fame shun, Thurman Munson.
Yeah.
But Bill and I kind of talked about just because of the accident.
Because of his because of him dying early in his life, he definitely had the numbers, and if he would have played another 5 years, he would have been a sure first ballot Hall of Fame just because he was with the Yankees, and the Yankees were that powerful in the 70s.
Yeah.
So.
And then Paul Merrow. But Paul Merrow has had some connection to, so there's that. But as far as a pitcher, Kurt Schilling, I mean, honestly, like, if I hit a card to him, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah,
if patch autograph number to 5, I'm still disappointed.
Yeah, if you opened up a National Treasures box and you get a Kurt Schilling and this autograph out of 25, you're like,
who cares?
Wah, wah.
Yeah, but we probably shouldn't feel that way.
You shouldn't feel that way.
I mean, monetarily we might.
Yeah,
but
I mean, and that's where it goes back, where you come back from your collecting to your flipping, which the market is now turned a lot into. There has to be collectors for something, for people to purchase the product to flip it to them.
Yeah.
But you're getting fewer and fewer collectors in the hobby, and people do make a living doing this, buying cards and reselling them. So, and there's nothing wrong with either way. I mean, if you collect, that's great. But if you flip, you have to find somebody. You have to be able to buy it at the right time to resell it. We had a couple comments.
Sure.
Matt Brown is comparing that to Carl Yastrzemski. Which Carl Yastrzemski, I never actually seen him play in his heyday. I only saw him I hope if there's any Carl fans out there, don't be mad at me. But I only saw him in his broke down days, like early '80s. Like he was already past his prime, and he was just the older guy that was, okay. But I mean, he was still a great player. But that's just me.
And comparing him to what? How was he comparing him?
To being shunned from the Hall of Fame.
So Yastrzemski is not in the Hall of Fame?
I thought he was, but I guess
my gosh, I'm shocked. I didn't. I mean, I was focused in on mostly '90s players.
Yeah.
But I had no idea on that one. I feel bad about that.
And someone here thinks that Fred McGriff should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm trying to figure out why.
Well,
you're
over 500 home runs, right?
He had the home runs. I think it's weird that the standards for the Hall of Fame have lowered over the last 3 years, because when you come out of the 60s and 70s, you had very little TV coverage. You only had, you might be able to see the Yankees play the game of the week on Sunday and stuff like that. So you only saw certain players. So only thing that you had to go by was statistics. And those statistical players are in the Hall because they had the numbers. When you get to the 80s and 90s, boom, we're watching. I remember coming home after school, the Cubs were on at 4 o'clock or 3:30 from Wrigley because they never had night games. Yeah. Or we out of Chicago, we'd be watching WOR out in New York, watching the Mets, or we'd see TBS, see the Braves occasionally. Yeah. So those are the people we got to watching. Well, those people are getting coverage in national media, so some of those people are probably hugely popular in our minds, but in the hobby weren't great players for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, for instance, like Sandberg.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big Sandberg fan.
Yeah.
That's my favorite player growing up.
Yeah.
And there are people that's surprised that he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, we would watch the Cubs coming home, and like Jody Davis was our catcher, and he was a fine catcher, but he wasn't a Hall of Famer. No. Never should be, and there weren't a lot of those Cubs that were potential Hall of Fame.
Mark Grace was good, but Dunston was good, but you're not considering Hall of Fame or anything.
But Lee Smith was their closer.
Yes.
And during his early years, he was getting a lot of a lot of saves, but he had such a long career, and his power. Then he was a starting pitcher. and then he went to a reliever at the end of his year, and that's what he got in the Hall of Fame for, is because of his final final part of his career. So
I'll just spit this out before you go.
Sure.
You can read a question. But so for
Yaz
me,
is in the Hall of Fame.
okay, I thought.
Okay.
So my biggest one, and this is what I think happened here. I remember being a collector, and I just started collecting, and we had this situation with like Greg Jeffries, and we were all let down.
Oh.
About that same time, there was Gary Sheffield. It was like everybody was into him too, and I think like you just set the bar so high for some of these guys that Gary Sheffield was a big deal like that rookie year, that first year, and then you're just like let down, like he's not Mike Trout type person or whatever, but Gary Sheffield had a lifetime batting average of 292 and hit 509 home runs. And I don't really remember hearing a lot about him connected to steroids. So I'm just like, how is this guy not in the Hall of Fame? I mean, how do I not realize that he's a Hall of Fame caliber player? Being basically a lifelong baseball fan, or since I was like 14, I don't really understand how he's kind of slipping through the cracks.
All right, we got DJ Packins thinks that Al Oliver and Dave Parker should both be in the Hall of Fame. I never really watched. Well, Al Oliver was with he was with
Reds
Pittsburgh
for a while, right?
Al Oliver,
wasn't he? With the Reds?
I thought he went to the Expos. I thought he was with the Expos. Anyways, I never really watched him because he wasn't a local thing with seeing. And Dave Parker was with the Pirates and then went to the Reds. So I mean, I've never really looked at his numbers. I don't know.
Parker has a lot of home runs.
He does have a lot of home runs.
The exact number,
but his batting average is low. Let me see. Thanks for that, Scott Boulderson. Yaz, I guess he did go in '89. Maybe. Okay. Matt Brown said Yastrzemski is in the Hall, but he does not get the due because no World Series. That does make complete sense. My mom's watching. Hi, Mama. And Jay McGuire, Leon said, Kevin Moss. What?
Kevin Moss.
Now, I did spend a lot of money trying to buy his rookie cards, but and Bob Horner. Now, I always thought it was cool that Bob Horner hit 4 home runs in one game. Now, how in the world do you hit 4 home? Most people only get 3 at bats. If you go a perfect game, everybody gets 3 at bats, and he hit 4 home runs in the same game. Oops, there you go. Lost my comments. Okay, we got Lawrence watching.
We also, I said this at the beginning, but if you just jumped in, I also shared a Sports Illustrated article about breakers and how breakers are really taking off during this whole COVID-19 thing. So I was just going to talk about that a little bit too here in a few minutes, and I definitely want to hear your guys' input. I know a lot of you shared that article, read that article. So Scott Boulderson said Gary Sheffield 89 tops. Oh,
he had his gold embossed teeth in the back in the day. That was cool. That was like he was like the Little Wayne of the 80s baseball. I don't know why he didn't become something. Al Oliver had 2,700 hits and a 303 batting average. Wow, you know what? I didn't realize that. I guess I could. I mean, I would never say somebody doesn't deserve in the Hall of Fame. No, I do. If any of you guys know me personally, you know my love for Don Mattingly goes really deep, and I kind of do point out people that I don't think should be in the Hall of Fame. And they are, one is from Montreal, and he had a lot of stolen bases, but Don Mattingly shouldn't have to purchase a ticket to go to the Hall of Fame when Tim Raines is in the Hall of Fame. So if that gets me haters, it happens. So anyways, all right, what was any other comments you guys want to comment on, and we can keep from there.
All right. We can talk about the
article. We'll carry on. Unless you guys have any more comments, please.
Jump in.
Okay.
So there was a Sports Illustrated article, and Vince from that Sports Card Show shared it. Several other people had shared it.
A very good podcast he has.
Yes, yeah. Vince definitely has a very good podcast, and sometimes
very detailed in the cards.
Yeah,
and
wide variety of guests.
Something that you may want to look into if you're in your car and you're looking for a podcast to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
He does a very good job of giving a good example of a lot of situations on cards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's had Rob on as a guest before.
Mm-hmm.
It's something definitely to check out.
Yeah, and he shared this article, and we won't go into extreme detail about all this, but like right now, hoops basketball is $240, $250 a box. Donruss basketball this year is $450 a box, which I couldn't believe it hit two. So for it to be $450, so everybody's kind of like, what's going on? In the midst of this pandemic, and I've said it before, so I won't beat a dead horse. But when this first happened and they shut down the shop, I panicked. There was a week there where I'm just like, what am I going to do? How am I going to eat? Because this is what I do for a living. So I'm like, how am I going to eat? What's going to happen? And it took me about a week or two to realize that this spurred on the card market.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy to say, but pretty much so, this is what happened. Everybody's trapped at home, and they have time on their hands, and they still collect cards. And it hadn't hit anybody's money yet.
Mm-hmm.
It hadn't really affected us that way. So it affected websites. It affected social media. Like if you just have Facebook pages where you put stuff, it affected eBay.
Yeah.
Bill's eBay sales are through the roof. And then I've mentioned, like, it used to be, I might go a week without an online order. And I haven't went 2 days in a row without multiple online orders now since this has happened. So it's really got people going. But got people going online. Now, the main thing that it's done, though, is for breakers. Breakers are the ones that are really excelling, and they're just burning through product. You have that going on, this phenomena of COVID-19, and at the same time, they're not releasing new product. So all the old product is all we have. And I predicted this, 3 or 4 weeks ago, that if this went on 2 or 3 months, you literally would find no old product. You'd be able to find maybe some retail product, but you would not find old hobby boxes on like other websites or whatever. It's just getting scarce because everybody's opening it. So, but the article was really interesting and worth, paying attention to. And I know not everybody out there is a small business person or whatever, but to be a little Gary V for a moment and entrepreneur-like, there was a blessing to this COVID-19 thing. Because what this COVID-19, the coronavirus did for us, is it gave us a snapshot of how we are going to do business in 5 years. Because we are all heading basically toward that. More significant growth of like social media, online purchasing, and that sort of thing, and less of in-face like shops and stuff like that is taking place. It's slowly happening, but this forced us to look forward 5 years. Now, there's some of you out there that have small businesses, especially if it's in the card market. If you have a small business, what you need to do is think about, first of all, hopefully you've been able to make money. If you haven't been making money in the last 60 days, then 5 years from now, you're not going to be able to make money selling cards.
Yeah.
And you need to figure out what you're doing wrong or what you need to do so that you can make money.
Yeah.
Now, if you have been making money, then you need to realize that once things open back up, it's going to kind of backdrift a little bit, but all it's doing is giving all of us perfect like 20/20 vision to see 5 years from now what we're going to have to do to run a shop. So whatever you've done these 60 days to make money, like Bill's been putting tons of stuff on eBay, and I've been moving a lot more on the on my website. So that's the direction, and that's the thing that you need to prepare for.
Yeah, you have to find a point in the future you want to be at, and then get your goals going that way. I mean, most businesses think 6 months ahead or a year ahead. Nobody thought last year that we were going to have 6 weeks where we're down, like the whole country's down. Literally, some people aren't even allowed out of their houses, or business are being fined in Lancaster, which is very close to us. Business today are being fined $150 if they're open, because the state is mandatory that no businesses can officially open up until Tuesday, the May 12th. So nobody took that into factor, and why would you? You know, they said that they got rid of the national, you know, disease prevention thing in 2018. Well, we hadn't needed to use that. So, of course, the government, why have it? You know, we could use that money for something else. And then as soon as you do, next thing you know, so you have to be prepared for everything. Like, I was a Cub Scout. We were always be prepared. That's just the way it is, way you should be.
Yeah.
We did have a question from, from DJ. He said, let me see here. A general question. Okay, reminder to everyone, Love Sports Market, now that appears to be absolutely on fire. People, including myself, report the final bids on eBay sales. It has came to my attention that there are more non-pays than usual. This market is not completely transparent. DJ said, that's what I only sell. Buy it now. Best offer. Don't trust auctions. Okay. There are, for every system in the world there's always a way to go around it. There's not always honest ways, but there is. So I know in particular that people put stuff up on eBay, overbid it, crazy, then they don't pay for it. But when they put that maybe not them, it's that card back up to sell, they have an artificial comparison. That's something that if you guys don't do regular cards regularly, that's something that is the newest terminology you see with us, with a lot of people coming in. It's an eBay comp or a market comp. And that's where they're saying, hey, I have this same rookie card of LeBron James and it just sold for $400. Well, mine's worth $400. Well, that guy that sold on eBay for $400 paid 10% to eBay, paid 3% to PayPal. So he got $340, you know. So if you think that you're going to get $400 out of your card and you're looking at the strongest market out there, which eBay is right now, you're not going to get it. You're only going to get what you would get after fees. Now, with that being said, people bid stuff up in purpose not to pay for it because they can just be like, oh, I'm not going to pay it. But it artificially stimulates that market to a higher level. So now the next guy that comes on that's looking to buy that card will be like, hey, the last one sold $400. Well, man, I don't really want to go that much, but I would go $350. Well, then that guy ends up buying that card for $350 because somebody had already pushed the market thinking that it was a higher value than it is. It's unfair business practices, honestly, and eBay should find a way to crack down on that. Like, if you have more than, if you want to count, if you're buying more, if you have more than 2 no pays in 3 months, they should block your account. They used to regulate that. I have not noticed them regulating that over the last few years. I've occasionally bought something and had bidder's remorse, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to pay for that. I can see that happening once. I can see that maybe happening twice. But I know people with accounts that have 100 of them because they were artificially inflating the market. And it's just not right as a business. But when you're trying to make your $200 card be a $400 card, that is a way of doing it. I don't agree with it. The buy it now, I think that's the best way. I don't put anything on there for bids unless it's something that I know is going to go really crazy, in my opinion. I usually put it buy it now at or beyond the highest price I've seen, knowing that someone's probably going to come in around the last one or close to there, and then by different, I'm deciding if I want to take it or not. So I do think buy it now is the best way with that. It keeps you from inflating the market. So, but that is a good question, DJ. Probably doesn't mean anything to anybody else, but that's just my question. So, but no, there's definitely a lot of, anytime there's a system set up, there's always people that find a way to hack it or change it or try, especially when it comes to money. Everybody wants to inflate themselves. So, and I mean, fortunately, I've bought for a long time, and right now I'm selling a good bit of stuff because people are now buying like LeBron James second-year cards. I would literally pass them at card shows 3 months ago for $2 for $1 or $2. Now, they're selling for $15 to $30 on eBay. But they're realizing that if you can't afford a Topps LeBron James card, which now books for $400, and you can get a second year for $50, it's a good value because it's not going to go down. I mean, LeBron James is going to go down as one of the best basketball players in history. He's not Michael Jordan, though, but he's one of the best in history.
Top three. Do you want to go ahead and? Last week we
were giving away a blaster last week to a customer, and
as long as they just shared,
it from the main page, and we got the things in here. If you want to draw one out.
All right. Okay. All right. Andrew H., which I believe is Andrew Hottinger. I believe that's how you say your last name. Yep, you got the blaster.
It was a choice, wasn't it?
Yeah, choice of one of three baseball blasters that we have in stock.
Yep.
So you can just stop in sometime or whatever.
If you want to let us know before Tuesday and you want to stop in and pick it up, that's fine. Or if you want to wait till Tuesday. Tuesday we will be officially back open. We'll be open Tuesday through Saturday as normal. We are going to modify our schedule during at least May. Instead of being open at noon, we're going to be starting opening at 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
Tuesday through Saturday.
Tuesday through Saturday.
Yep.
I don't think that should affect you guys. Hopefully not a lot. I mean, but we also when we come in, we have to do other stuff in the shop, like cleaning showcases. We have maintenance things we have to do to even be opened by the state of Ohio. So we're rolling our hours back from to 2 to 6. So if anybody wants to stop in, please feel free. And if you can't make those hours, and if there's something you want, or you just want to stop by and say hi, you can message us. I can't say it's possible we'll be here, so please feel free to message us. You can message us through the store phone. I also have a email system, or email, and you can message Rob, or you can text either of us. If you can't make those hours, and you're like, if you're coming from out of the distance, I mean, we'll try to be here as when we can. So
yeah, for sure. So along those lines of talking about opening up, our understanding is we are to wear masks. So we're going to be pretty much in here with masks on 90% of the time. If it's just maybe the three of us and and there's an hour in between customers, we might wait till you hit the door, but we're going to put a mask on. We would like you to wear masks, but I don't feel like we are going to force you to wear a mask as our customer. But we
will have hand sanitizer.
We will have hand sanitizer, and we will make a regular habit of wiping off countertops and stuff with bleach, with Clorox cleaner, that sort of thing. So, is there any other questions or anything anybody has? Any comments?
All right, guys. We'll give you 30 seconds. Anybody got any comments they want to make? Or if you guys want to recommend that Bobby wears a mask all the time, go ahead and let us know.
He's just right over there. You can't see him, but
I haven't seen him in weeks. He disappeared. I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
Oh no! Here he comes.
He's going to make an appearance, maybe. Here he comes. It's cool.
His hair's getting long enough.
Hi, everybody.
He could probably just pull his hair around and put it over his face. It's about 2 weeks from there.
I am the third around here. Sort of stay in the background.
So
I let Bill and Rob do this because they do it so well, and
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
we're just kind of here talking. So.
Yeah,
I just sort of hang around and try to get some stuff done here at the shop.
Yep.
Can't wait to see y'all.
And Tuesday.
We're
back open.
Yep. As a reminder, we will be back in business on Tuesday. 2 o'clock, 2 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday. So, and if you definitely need to schedule an appointment with us at another time, or if, even after they've opened the businesses and you still, like we know one customer that came in that wanted to get a blaster but had his kids with him. If you want to do curbside service still, you just let us know. We don't want you to feel uncomfortable coming in here. I mean, even though we're going to be cleaning the showcases and making sure that we're up to guidelines, we need to, we want to make sure we don't shut out any local customers. I mean, the online customers, you message us and all that, and we can ship you anything, but we don't want somebody to feel alienated because they don't want to be out in public. I mean, if you're in your car and you feel that's a safe area and you drive up and you want us to, we can do that. So we will continue curbside service until, and as long as there's a pandemic. I mean, we want to make sure you guys have you guys feel safe in here. We want to feel safe in here too also. So we're not mandatory, and you don't have to wear a mask, but we do prefer it if you can. And we will have hand sanitizer if you want to go through boxes of cards, or comics, or we're getting some new product out, so we definitely want to be a safe and sanitary visit to us. So
yeah, they've actually been working and have added another whole row of merchandise. We're talking about a bargain, basically bobblehead table, that sort of thing. So we're going to be working on that. And as far as products, as far as hobby boxes go, the only update I can really give you is that nothing seems scheduled to release till last week of May. Last week of May, things might start rolling, and then eventually getting into June, we might see 2 to 3, 4 products every week. So there's still stuff on the shelf. I mean, I probably have a couple hundred boxes, but it's stuff that you've seen.
It's not a normal stock because a lot of it he sold out and can't replace it right now. And there are certain supplies that we're really low on, like top loads.
Yes.
We literally, just an insight to the business, our top loads are through Ultra Pro are made in China. They come in through California, and California is not officially open yet. So, with all the things that matters in life, you're talking water, you're talking food, you're talking clothes, you're talking toilet paper, come to find out. Anyways, top loads for sports cards are not top priority to most people in the world. There's other things are. So I'm not saying we're not going to get them back in. We will get them back in as soon as possible, but it's going to be a little delayed. But if you let us know, we can get as much as we can try to. If you want to comment or let us know what you're looking for, we can definitely try to let you know a time schedule and what we think we'll have in. So, and Anthony Grosso said we did a good job.
Oh yeah, thanks.
But
yeah, we appreciate you guys watching. And then last week we shared it over. Close to 400 people watched the video. Definitely, I got people interested in the website, which is GameTimeSportsCollect.com. Just from watching this video, sharing this video. So we appreciate you guys sharing and watching, especially even when we're not doing a giveaway or whatever. And but yeah, we'll do this again. We're gonna keep doing this every Wednesday, 3:30. We're gonna go live. We'll do a half hour, 45-minute little thing, and usually have a topic.
We hope towards the end of May, we'll have a lot of product that we talk about that's hey, look at this, what we got in. Because his normal release day is Wednesday. So it's good for us to be like, hey, we got a case of this in here. If you're interested, let us know. Because if you let us know on a product and we have plenty of it, we can try to set aside a box for you. Because like I said, we're here to help out the customer.
Yeah. So for those of you that just jumped on, we talked about a Sports Illustrated article about how cards have actually taken off because of this pandemic. We talked about underrated baseball players of the 90s and Hall of Fame people that got shunned.
Don Mattingly, why he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's basically
all about it. That's all it was.
Yeah, and so that's all Bill focused on. So, but we'll share it, and you guys can go back through and watch it. And, let us know what you think. We'll if you have any ideas for subjects we can talk about next week, just hit us up.
Yeah, please feel free to send messages through our website, through the Game Time Facebook page, because we like to talk about different subjects, especially stuff we know about, and we know about sports and memorabilia, and that's about it.
Yeah, so we look forward to seeing you guys in person next week. I mean, those of you that live close.
All right, for me and Bobby and Rob, we will see you next week.
Yep. Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you.